It's been, what, almost 8 years now since Linkin Park stood on this stage together, you know? And now, yeah, they're back. But listen closely. That voice, the one filling the stadium tonight, it's not Chester Bennington, right? For some fans, this moment feels like a long-awaited homecoming, you know what I mean? For others, it's like ripping open an old scar. Tonight, I want to take you back to when one man's voice could shake the whole rock scene, and then bring you here to this moment where the band's facing a choice to move forward without him. Chester Bennington, man, his voice was raw, real, and just packed with emotion, you know? It wasn't just singing, it was like he was screaming straight from the heart of anyone who'd ever been in pain. Back in 2000, he and Linkin Park dropped Hybrid Theory, their debut album. And yeah, it became a legend, selling over 25 million copies worldwide. Songs like In the End
starts with
one thing, I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how hard you try.
and Crawling. They made Chester's name echo across the rock scene. 2 years later, Meteora proved they weren't just a passing trend. They were the heartbeat of the nu metal era, no doubt about it. And then, in 2017, the news of Chester's passing hit fans like a punch to the chest. We didn't just lose a singer, we lost a voice that made us feel like we weren't alone in our pain, you know? After 2017, Linkin Park pretty much disappeared from the stage for years. Each member took their own time for family, time to heal. Mike Shinoda, he focused on his solo work, toured under his own name. But the question fans everywhere kept asking was, will Linkin Park ever come back, right? And eventually, yeah, we got an answer. They announced 2 new members, Emily Armstrong from Dead Sarah as lead vocalist, and Colin Britton on drums. Alongside them came a brand new album, From Zero, a title that kind of said, we're starting from scratch. Emily's voice, it's not the same as Chester's, and she's not trying to be him. For some, that's an exciting new chapter. For others, it might take some getting used to. Either way, this was the start of a brand new era for Linkin Park, you know? The return of Linkin Park sparked all kinds of emotions across the fan base. Some fans were overjoyed, finally seeing the band back on stage after years of silence. For them, it was a sign that Linkin Park's music was still alive. But others felt uneasy. To them, no one could ever truly replace Chester, you know? The biggest wave of drama hit when Chester's mom spoke out. She said she felt betrayed because nobody told her beforehand about the band performing her son's songs. On social media, things blew up. Some defended the band, praising Emily for stepping into such a tough role. Others questioned if this version of Linkin Park was still the band they knew and loved. This wasn't just a comeback. It was a test of loyalty, memory, and emotion for fans all over the world, right? When you put Emily's voice side by side with Chester's thoughtful, the first thing you notice is how different the emotion and energy are, you know? Chester's voice, man, it was like an explosion from deep inside, raw, full of pain, carrying all the weight he had in every lyric.
Bass. When you whip yourself? Yeah, what's that called?
Emily's voice, smoother, more controlled, with that rock edge blended with the alt style she's known for.
This is what you asked for!
And that's the challenge when you're carrying on the legacy of a legendary rock band. Fans don't just hear notes, they hear memories, the connection they had with that original voice. We've seen it before, right? Queen brought in Adam Lambert, not to imitate Freddie Mercury, but to bring his own power and personality. AC/DC turned to Brian Johnson after Bon Scott, and together they built a new golden era. In the end, success doesn't come from making everything exactly the same. It's about making fans feel like the heart of the band is still beating in the music. You know what I mean? Today, Linkin Park's not just putting out a new album. They've got big plans for the future, right? The From Zero tour's locked in with shows lined up all over the world. And in this era where social media drives music, they're going all in. TikTok, Instagram Reels, streaming platforms, the works. Songs from Zero are already showing up in short clips, sometimes from old fans, sometimes from brand new ones. Some people hear the new tracks and then go back to explore the classics. At the same time, the band knows moving forward doesn't mean forgetting Chester. The real challenge? Finding that balance, honoring Chester's legacy while building a new identity. Because in the end, Linkin Park's never been just one voice. It's the heart and the energy of everyone on stage, and everyone in the crowd, you know? For more than 20 years, thoughtful, Linkin Park's never been just a band, you know? It's the memory of that first song you played alone in your bedroom, the voice that carried you through your darkest days, and the energy that made you believe you could stand back up again. Now, they're stepping into a new era. The voice coming from the stage, it's not Chester's, but it's trying to carry the same heart, right? For some, this is the chapter they've been waiting for. For others, it doesn't feel like the Linkin Park they knew. No one can replace Chester. But if the band doesn't move forward, can Linkin Park keep breathing? Maybe the answer's not about the band, or whose voice is singing. Maybe it's about whether we can still feel the same heart in the music they play today, you know? So, what do you think?